What's up, everybody? John Sharmiho here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the new album from the band Vessel of Iniquity, entitled Void of Infinite Horror. This is released on Sentient Ruin Laboratories. Now, if you're not too familiar with this project, it's based out of Oxfordshire, southeast England, and the best way to describe the sound of this project would be a very brash, dissonant, noisy hybrid of both black metal and death metal. Vessel of Iniquity is primarily a one-person project formed by a guy by the name of A. White. He plays and does everything. He does all the instrumentation and the vocals. And the first time I had ever heard of this project was the very first release put out for Vessel of Iniquity in the form of a self-titled release back in 2016. That was a 3-track EP. I don't know if I can call it a full length or an EP or not because it's really short. But upon listening to those 3 tracks, you got a glimpse of what type of a project Vessel of Iniquity was. Very noisy, very loud, very obnoxious, and it had so much great things going for it. I mean, if you really like that deep dungeon dwelling type of style of death metal, like Titan Blood or Portal or something of that particular nature, Vessel of Iniquity had that really distinctive sort of sound going for it. And of course, that project got a lot of acclaim, that release got a lot of acclaim, and I think it's well worth the acclaim and justification it got. But fast forward to now, we have a brand new release from Vessel of Iniquity entitled Void of Infinite Horror. This is the second release from this project. It's only 5 tracks, and it clocks in at around 24 minutes in length, so pretty much it's keeping up in the same way as the last release, whereas it's short and sweet and to the point, but you get a lot more ideas and a lot more growth and depth this time around. And this release really doesn't pull any punches, and it just goes straight to fuck you up the minute you hear Invocation of the Heart Girt with a Serpent. It's just loud and crazy from the very get-go. But once you get past that song, you get on to the next couple of tracks ahead, like Babylon and Mother of Abomination, where you get some really, really well-played and well-established sort of guitar riffs going on with those tracks. It's very, very loud, very articulated, very well-played, and I think the instrumentation that's being done on those songs sound really awesome. Then you get to the closing track of this record, Once More Into the Abyss, where you feel like you've reached the calm sort of point of this record. The guitar playing is done at a very, calming sort of nature, but then the tension begins to build up and rise, and then things get to become a lot more complicated and frightening. And that's where you get a lot of craziness going on with Once More Into the Abyss. I think it's a really killer track, and I think the guitar playing done throughout this entire record is very awesome, and the way every song builds up and leads up into something a little more darker and a little more sinister, I think it's really awesome. The drumming on here is very top-notch. I'm not sure if this is drum programming or actual natural drums or not, but the way everything sounds, it just feels persistent, fast, intense. That's the vibe I get when I listen to this sort of drum performance. But I think in the case of Vessel of Iniquity, I think this drum sound works out quite well. It adds to the tension, it adds to the chaos, and you just don't know how to grasp it at first. But once you really get into the swing of things, I think you'll be comfortable with it and the way this drum style sound goes. And when it comes to the vocals, I really like this guy's vocal style. It's very shrill, very angry, very menacing. I kind of think it gets buried out by how loud and abrasive the music is on this record, but what I do hear of this vocal performance, I think it does work out very well. I think it's very awesome. Definitely a strong vocal performance being done here, and definitely it adds to the overall madness and chaos that you listen throughout this entire record. Who knows what's going to be next for this project? I don't know if they're going to make another shorter record or if they're going to keep on doing what this guy knows how to do, and that's just craft out really freaky, noisy, loud, chaotic black death metal. So overall, Very strong release from Vessel of Iniquity. If you were a fan of this project's first release, you're going to find something to enjoy here with Void of Infinite Horror. I think it's a really solid album. I wish it went on a little longer, but who knows, maybe we'll get something longer next time. But I definitely recommend this for anybody who's into the dark, suffocating sorts of styles of death metal and noisy experimentation. I think it's really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you a link in the description box as to how you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I will leave you a link to the Sentient Ruin Bandcamp page where you can listen to this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you think it's worthy of being purchased or not. You can stream it by digitally, and it is available physically as a cassette tape and 12-inch vinyl. I know this is getting a co-release in Europe. I forget the name of the label offhand, but I know Sentient Ruin is the distributor as far as North America is concerned, so they know how to distribute and do really good things with tape and vinyl stuff, so definitely be on the lookout for what they decide to put out next. So again, the album is Void of Infinite Horror by Vessel of Iniquity. This is released on Sentient Ruin Laboratories. Go check this one out. And for a score, I'm going to give this a very solid 8.5 out of 10. Very complex, very crazy, very noisy black death metal, but I think Vessel of Iniquity still has a lot more great progress to continue to show for everybody. So if you happen to have heard this album, definitely let me know what you think about it and how you feel about it. Or any of you guys into Vessel of Iniquity, definitely let me know. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. And until the next time, Army Hunt out.